Welcome back to Night City. Yes, it is time to talk about more Cyberpunk 2077 news updates. We've got this one right here because data miners have been busy. It looks like they've made some new discoveries here about multiplayer and expansions. I'm going to be talking about that here in just a moment. Plus, we're going to be talking about the free DLC. It looks like there's more to the free DLC than meets the eye. We'll be taking a look at what the community recently discovered. Plus, Projekt Red Defends Update 1.3 and the free DLC additions. And we're going to be talking about how things are actually looking up for Cyberpunk in terms of the Steam rating. So let's do this. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open world games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's dive into this right now, shall we? Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the data mining here. This comes from Video Games Chronicle right here, and it says CD Projekt previously said it had canceled plans for a standalone online game. But we have some fascinating discoveries after update 1.3 because there's hidden things within the files. So let's dive into it right now. So this is what the article goes on to say. It says, according to the analysis of the update's game files by content creator Tyler McVicker, the 1.3 update has made sweeping changes to Cyberpunk and its engine. Most significantly, a data mine of the game's executable has found new references to multiplayer and expansions. It says at least 2 expansions are now listed in Cyberpunk's files. It's claimed and build states for multiplayer gyms and various tests. There's also reference to old multiplayer modes, which could be pointing to the original plans for a Cyberpunk online game. You know, previously we've heard a bunch of rumors about Cyberpunk multiplayer, but here are the actual files. Check this out right here. It goes on to showcase, you know, these files, base worlds, you have gyms directory, you have a test directory, multiplayer scan directory, multiplayer gyms, multiplayer functional tests, multiplayer old scan, and multiplayer old gyms. So there's some old files in there, it seems, and it seems like they have goofed around with multiplayer already for Cyberpunk. Don't get me wrong, this world, Night City, is absolutely incredible when it comes to thinking about doing like online role-playing stuff in Night City. That'd be pretty cool. But of course, I really want them to focus on the core game as it stands currently and getting that, you know, up to par. And they've done, you know, some really cool stuff with update 1.3. Don't get me wrong, it was their biggest update by far, and the game continues to improve over time. But let's dive into this a lot more. It says, as part of a wide-ranging CD Projekt strategy update published in March, President and Joint CEO Adam Kinski announced that the company had reconsidered plans for a standalone Cyberpunk online game. Now, CD Projekt first suggested in January 2020 that its Cyberpunk multiplayer project would be its own AAA release rather than a Cyberpunk add-on, and last November, Kinski called it a separate dedicated production, a big production, adding, "We think about it as a standalone production." However, Kinski said in a video announcing the cancellation of its online plans. Previously, we hinted that our next AAA would be multiplayer Cyberpunk game, but we have decided to reconsider this now. Given our new, more systemic and agile approach, instead of primarily focusing on one big online experience or game, we are focusing on bringing online into all of our franchises one day. And this data mining could be a tease as to that coming forward and into the light, of course. It's going to take some time, I think, to see anything online relating to Cyberpunk, but we'll have to see, of course, what happens there. Now, the article goes on to say this. CD Projekt later made comments alluding to have online elements in its future games, but approaching development incrementally. This week's data mine of 1.3 patch could suggest that part of the company's new plan is to add multiplayer features to Cyberpunk via future updates. Yes, of course. So that'd be really, really cool to see down the road. But again, my personal assessment is stick to what you're really good at. If you're a game studio and you have succeeded in the past with the single player, especially with The Witcher, if you look at The Witcher and what they did with that franchise, in my opinion, they just need to keep going with that sort of thing and get it up to the level of Skyrim. You know, Skyrim is re-releasing again with a next-gen update, and it shows how much of a powerhouse these open-world RPGs can become if done right. Can Cyberpunk become something special in the next few years? Only time will tell. Alright, so let me know what you guys think about multiplayer in Cyberpunk. Please sound off But we're going to be talking about the free DLC right now that was added to the game. We got a bunch of jackets, of course. We did, of course, get that brand new car that was added to the game, which I personally think is one of the cooler additions. That's the sort of thing I want to see. But check this out right here. It goes on to say this. Turns out the free DLC doesn't add just 2, but a total of 35 new jackets to the game, and CD Projekt Red completely fails to mention this. Now, there is a catch, so hold on. This comes from, by the way, Till W. He goes on to say this. Hey, Junes. While I was updating my mod to 1.3, I had a look at what the item IDs of the new jackets were, and surprise, surprise, noticed that there were more new jackets, than just the 2 showed on stream. The free DLC actually adds a total of 35 jackets to the game. Obviously, only 2 of them are directly connected to missions, and they are not all unique models, but rather different variants of the same ones. But same goes for all of the over 1,000 clothes to the game. Seems like CD Projekt Red just failed to communicate this properly, which resulted in the 2 jacket DLC controversy. Here's an image with all of them jackets in inventory. Here's the catch. All right, we see the jackets. There are 2 jackets that have been added to the game. These are them right here up in the corner. And there's variants of these 2 jackets, different colors, different things like that. It should have been mentioned on stream. This is actually really cool. Would be cooler if we did have a third person view to actually see these jackets. But again, should have been mentioned. Let me know what you guys make of this. I think having additional colors for anything clothing is really cool, for anything cosmetic. So yeah, that's actually noteworthy right there. But again, it's just recoloring the jacket. So a lot of you might be like, no big deal. All right, so Cyberpunk developers, CD Projekt Red, have been busy defending the new DLC. A lot of people were very underwhelmed by the DLC, but again, I personally think when it comes to the cars, that's the sort of thing that I personally like. They should do more around the cars. Let me tell you what, more events, races, that sort of thing. I love that. Now, let's get into this article right now, shall we? It goes on to say the following. During a recent Twitch live stream about the update, CD Projekt Red senior level designer Miles Tost noted that the new update is the biggest to date and required a lot of effort. To this end, the DLC was supposed to be a cherry on top. Says this patch is our biggest one to date, said Tost. That's misspelled during the live stream. We put a lot of effort into this one, so consider the DLCs that we have now as a sort of goodies, sort of cherries on the top. The reality, of course, and we've talked about this in the past, is that we differentiate a bit between different kinds of extra content, between DLCs, additional items, of which we will have plenty coming down the road, and of course the giant expansion passes, which we will have something to say about later. So that's really cool there. Now it says, as you can see, Tost teases that CD Projekt Red will have more to say about the aforementioned expansions later, but unfortunately the CD Projekt Red developer didn't delve deep into what exactly it will have more to say. So yeah, that's the one thing that I'm mostly excited about, but it seems like you know, they were mostly focused on getting this update 1.3 out. It is fairly big in terms of all of the minor things they had to change. Again, this stuff should have been done before launch. The game should have been delayed, in my opinion, an entire year, because yeah, this would have been thrown in the game anyway at launch with update 1.3. But free DLCs are coming. There's going to be more stuff. I'm curious to see if we're going to see more cars. It looks like we're going to be getting more in terms of like gigs, side activities, and things like that. That's another thing that's going to be interesting. We'll see how big and lengthy those are. I wouldn't expect those to be super, super extensive, but I want to see those big expansions. This is really interesting. The Steam reviews of the game are getting more and more positive. We're looking at 76% now. It says, look at the thread complaining about the mods letting the sub go to crap. 51 awards so far, 67% upvoted. The vocal minority of the fanatical haters would have you believe they represent the community, and that's why the sub is so negative. They absolutely do not. The vast majority of people actually do like the game. 76% in spite of review bombing is pretty darn impressive. So, what are you? And are you in the vast majority that like the game? I'm putting that in quotes right there. Or are you in the minority, the vocal minority of fanatical haters? So sound off in the comments below. Let me know what side of the fence you are on right now after update 1.3. You know, it's good to see that they are still updating the game. They did a live stream, confirming that expansions are being worked on. So there is some good news here related to Cyberpunk in there for sure. But a lot of it right now is just waiting and seeing what is going to happen in terms of new content. But yeah, now it's time to go over, guess what? Your top comments. Let's do this. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So let's do this, shall we? So my most recent video was called this one right here, Cyberpunk, the fan base is divided. Update 1.3 underwhelms, fans react, new updates. So yeah, you know, for the most part, this was a very divisive update. I think people were expecting more noticeable things, including one thing is people want to be able to customize their character, their hair, tattoo, stuff like that. All right, let's see what you guys had to say. Tommy Tucker says a third-person perspective option so we can actually see our characters, third-person cutscenes added back, and an outfit slot so we don't look like idiots because we had to equip the arm pieces with the best stats. Absolutely. Austin says, what do we want? The game we were promised. When did we want it? 9 months ago. That's how a lot of people are feeling, man. Nigerian says, I feel like they're totally out of touch with what the fan base actually wants. And you know, the again, the Johnny Silverhand outfit totally threw me. I'm like, why? You know, why? It's not like that wasn't even mentioned by anyone. There was one period where you guys did say it would be cool to have different customization options for your companions, but I just feel like that is not priority at all compared to the big list of things that you guys want. Would be neat down the road, but that should be like after everything has been added back into the game that you guys really, really desire. Adam says this, one of the main things that make a game like this feel alive is great NPC and police AI, and they haven't done anything significant to it. 125 votes there. They've done a few things with the recent patch, but again, it's been so minor on the side of AI. A lot of people want aggressive police that get into cars and chase you. Again, simple things that should be in the game. This stuff has been in the Saints Row franchise, GTA, pretty much since the beginning. All right, Mike Doe says the following. He says, I uninstalled after seeing one NPC crossing a truck as a ghost while he's talking with me. Sorry, but no, it's been 8 months, 130-hour approximate in-game, but no more till they seriously fix the game. Those are basic things that have been broken since launch. I hear ya. Scuba says, I'm just waiting for them to add content that I actually notice. I don't really even want more gigs and quest lines. I just want more RPG elements. Wow. 197 upvotes. Again, my opinion on that one is it would be thrown into the big expansion. So don't hold your breath regarding those type of things. RPG elements with, you know, the free updates. I could be wrong, but I honestly would expect that to be released alongside a big expansion, perhaps in some form of big update, and then you have the expansion to get people interested. At least that's what I think they might be trying to do, but we'll see. All right, there it is, guys. All the latest happenings around Cyberpunk. Stay tuned for more. Let me know if you want to see multiplayer or not. I just want them to continue working hard and fixing the core issues with the game. I am excited to see what they do with the expansions, to be completely blunt with you. Very curious as to what they're working on. I would love to be a fly on the wall in their dev studios for sure. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.